Worst marketing strategies for local businesses. So let's talk about the first method that I think is one of the worst, and we're going to do this in order. So the local radio advertising placements that some people do in local businesses. Now, this basically means airing commercials on radio stations that cater to a specific geographical area or demographic. These ads are typically run during various times throughout the day on repeat, and they include morning, drive time, midday, and evening hours, and sometimes they're just said once or twice by the host of the radio station. The estimated costs will vary, but basically for radio advertising, it can vary depending on factors such as time of day, the length of the ad, and the popularity of the radio station. On average, a small business can expect to pay anywhere from $200 to $5,000 per month, or per week, for radio advertising spots. So let's talk about the factors to consider here. So in terms of reach and effectiveness, we can reach a broad audience with a specific area. However, the effectiveness of a radio ad can be limited due to the unfocused listeners who are focused on driving usually, and its limited targeting factors. Some main cons, why it's such a terrible one, is the low ability to measure performance and track our return on investment. Ad clutter, because there's a lot of different ads that are playing on the radio station anyway that are also taking away from listeners' attention, and the inability to convey details in this without showing any visuals, since it's just audio. And also we're seeing a lot of declining listenerships because most people are preferring podcasts over radio stations these days. So what's a good alternative? Well, I just said it, podcasts. They have a growing audience and more attention for listeners. Now, your first question will be, how do you target podcasts in a local area? Well, you can target a podcast for local industries. So there are different people who are interested in a variety of different topics and themes, which you can find and target. And podcasts do offer that. There's such a wide range of varieties and themes of podcasts. They're usually cheaper when compared to radio advertising, and there's more attention devoted from listeners to podcasts, generally speaking. And also there's a longer lasting effect since episodes can be rewatched. So this is a good alternative. Another method that I think is also terrible is local newspaper advertising. Just to be clear, I'm not hitting on these methods because they are old. I've always said one of the most powerful marketing strategies, which is an old method, is word of mouth. But these methods just simply don't work for local businesses or are not as effective as other ones. So the overview would be involves placing ads in local newspapers to reach targeted audiences with a specific geographical area. These ads appear in various sections of the newspaper, including the front page, classified section, or special interest section. And the estimated costs for newspaper advertising varies depending on factors such as ad size, placement, circulation, and frequency of publication. On average, a small business can expect to pay anywhere from $100 to $1,000 per ad. Now, this is an exception. There are some magazines that do really well in some communities where if you get on that magazine, it can be really beneficial. But it depends on variables. So why is newspaper advertising so bad? Let's go over some factors like reach and effectiveness. The potential to reach a local audience interested in news and community events. That's the benefit here, right? But the problem is the effectiveness of a newspaper advertising has declined in recent years due to digital media consumption. So less people are reading these newspapers, and generally old people. So the ability to measure an ad performance and track ROI is very difficult. There's a lot of advertising already on newspapers, so you're competing with a lot of people's attention. Readers' attention. Another thing is the readership is steadily declining over digital media. So you can't really compete with that again. And you can't really target younger generation with newspaper ads. So what's a good alternative? In my opinion, it's YouTube videos like the one you're watching right now. So I'm creating YouTube videos to educate people about local SEO. And then in return, people are appreciating my education, and they're going to my website vortexranker.com and seeking my assistance for local SEO. So you would just need to do the same thing. Why? Because it's cheaper to produce and has longer lasting effects. It's good for your actual website SEO and your brand. It also targets younger generation, which is a better potential of clients. You can also build a loyal fan base, and you can collect an extra source of income from that, and videos can get organic and continuous views over time. So let's talk about another method, which is also pretty bad, which is billboards and DOOH advertising. So what does DOOH stand for? It's digital out of home. So you tend, when you're walking around on the street and you see those like electronic billboards near bus stations, that's DOOH. So basically we're placing large outdoor advertisements along highways on busy streets with high traffic areas to capture attention from motorists and pedestrians for billboards, and DOH is the same thing but just more focused on pedestrians. And with the DOH system you can have multiple ads and different animations that are rolling in display. So let's talk about the estimated cost. It depends on factors such as location, size, visibility, and duration of the ad campaign, and you can expect to pay anywhere from $500 to $5,000 per month for ad space. So some factors to consider is the potential reach is great to pedestrians and the local area, but however it's quite difficult in terms of being effective, and can be limited to such because you're basically competing with a lot of people who are already walking around on the street looking at their phone anyway, and there's a lot of ads all over the street anyway. If you just go and focus and trying to see how much ads are out there, so you're competing in this small area. It's very competitive, very cluttered, and it's not very easy and precisely to measure and target demographics here. You're saying, I'm hoping the people in this specific area see it, and I hope the right people see it. So it's more of a gamble, really. So like I said, limited targeting compared to digital advertising. It's very hard to designate exactly who you want to target. High costs. You're paying a lot of money, which you could put in other places and get a lot of better ROI. And you can't really convey detailed information on some billboard. It's pretty hard to do that. So what's a good alternative? Google Maps local SEO. So you want to optimize your Google My Business profile and outrank local competitors. For the same budget, $500 to $5,000, if you put that into local SEO for a year, wow, you would get a way better ROI effect. The main pros are you're targeting leads actively searching for your existing service rather than just randoms. It's easier to monitor analytics and measure ROI and profits using Google My Business, and it's cheaper and highly effective compared to other methods. If you looked at the other methods and you're spending anywhere from $500 to $5,000 a month, compared to this one where it's just a few $100 a month and way more effective, this is a clear winner, and this demonstrates why the other ones are pretty bad. Another thing is it's the most used platform to find businesses. So it's pretty important, and it's cheaper and more effective than website SEO, because when you're doing website SEO, you're competing against tens of thousands, if not millions, of results that come up on Google Maps when you type in a certain search query. Whereas on Google Maps, instead of Google Search, you're only competing against 100, maybe 200 competitors in your local area, so less competition. So if your local SEO is on point, it's way easier to outrank those than the millions of websites that are ranking for this search query. Like, for example, plumbers in Manhattan. If you do that on Google Search, you'll have way more results than if you do that on Google Maps. And it's much easier to win on Google Maps. And another thing, if we're able to get to the top 3 position on a Google Maps search query, we also show up on Google Search. Why? Because Google Search, if you type in a search query that shows you, for example, plumbers in a location, if you type that into Google Search, the top 3 results after some sponsored websites, you'll see the top 3 results from Google Maps. So if you're in the top 3 on Google Maps, you're also going to be the top 3 on Google Search without having to spend a lot of money for website SEO. That's another really good benefit. So if you need any help with Google Maps SEO and you're interested, you can watch our videos, or you can go to vortexranker.com and book a free consultation with me, where I'll give you a free ranking audit about your business, and we can go from there and see what strategies would be best for your particular situation. That's about it for today. Take care.